stages bathed in light, the applause of strangers, and the freedom to play his guitar wherever life would take him, the melodies flowing from his fingers like a current he could never resist. And yet when the tragedy struck that fateful summer, the accident that claimed both his parents, his dreams evaporated like morning mist, leaving behind only the weight of responsibility, a burden he never expected but somehow accepted without question. Because there, in the empty house that smelled faintly of old wood and fading lavender, stood his little sister Lily, wide-eyed and trembling, the only living connection he had left to the family he had lost. And James knew that in that fragile frame lay not just her present but her future, a future he vowed to protect no matter the cost, even if it meant the music within him would never reach the audiences he had imagined, even if it meant the applause and the stage lights were replaced by dishes, homework, and late night whispers of comfort. And so he rose early each morning, his guitar silent in the corner of his bedroom while he made breakfast, checked bills, and ensured the house was ready for the small routines that kept Lily's life from completely unraveling. And he did it with quiet determination, never complaining, never letting her see the fatigue that dragged his shoulders down or the dreams that whispered to him in the dark, tempting him to run away for just one night to a bar, a stage, or even a park where the music could breathe freely without the shadows of responsibility weighing it down. And Lily, for all her youth, sensed something profound in her brother's presence, the way his eyes lingered on her when she struggled with schoolwork, the way his hand hovered a moment too long on her shoulder when he sensed she needed reassurance. And though she never said it aloud, she understood the sacrifice, the enormous and quiet decision he had made to put her before himself, to lay down his ambitions and pick up a life of duty instead, a life of meals prepared, forms signed, and lessons learned not in classrooms but in the subtle art of surviving adulthood before even reaching it. And James, in his moments of solitude, would sometimes sit with his guitar, tracing the frets with fingers that ached for music, imagining the melodies he could have played on stages far from this small town, imagining the applause that never came, imagining the faces of strangers illuminated by lights as his own eyes glistened with longing. And yet every time he imagined it, his thoughts inevitably drifted to Lily, sitting across from him at the kitchen table with her hair in a braid and a homework assignment spread out before her, her concentration fierce and innocent at once. And he would remind himself that this was where he needed to be, that this was the stage life had given him now, a stage filled with responsibility and quiet triumphs, a stage where success was measured not by claps but by the smile on his sister's face when she mastered a difficult lesson, or the laughter that escaped her lips after a long day. And though he sometimes envied the freedom of his friends, who sent him pictures of concerts and shared stories of late-night gigs and bright lights, he never let that envy poison the small moments of joy that Lily brought, the subtle warmth of her presence a balm against the gnawing ache of dreams postponed. And he learned to find music in her laughter, to see rhythm in her footsteps, to feel harmony in the quiet dinners they shared. And in those moments, James discovered that sacrifice, though heavy, could be a source of profound connection, because love expressed in action, not applause, held a resonance no stage could ever replicate. And yet the weight of years pressed on him, the nights when Lily slept and he was left with the emptiness of his room and the muted notes of his guitar, the silence echoing louder than any audience could ever cheer. And he allowed himself those few private moments of grief, of longing, of imagining a life that could have been. And each time he returned to his duties with renewed purpose, knowing that the security, happiness, and future of his sister rested in his hands. And he bore that knowledge with the quiet dignity of someone who had learned that true courage was not always flashy or applauded, but often measured in the persistence of care, the consistency of presence, the unwavering choice to prioritize another over oneself. And as Lily grew, she began to notice the cracks in his smile, the brief pauses when he allowed himself a sigh or a glance at the closed guitar case in the corner. And she asked questions in her own gentle way, questions about dreams deferred, about why he never played for others anymore. And James answered with care, choosing words that reassured her while carrying the weight of unspoken sorrow. And in those conversations, Lily began to understand the depth of his sacrifice, the enormity of the love that propelled him to lay down his ambitions in favor of her safety and happiness. And she marveled at how selflessly he moved through the days, how he navigated school, work, household responsibilities, and her emotional needs with a balance that seemed impossible. Yet somehow, he achieved it, a silent hero in her life, a brother who had transformed loss into love, grief into duty, and dreams into devotion. And the town began to notice too, the neighbors, who saw him working long hours, taking care of chores others avoided, supporting Lily through every challenge, always present but never seeking recognition. And whispers of admiration began to spread, whispers that acknowledged his courage, his selflessness, his quiet strength. And although James never asked for praise, never wanted it, he carried it humbly, a reminder that his sacrifices were visible even when his music was not. And over the years, Lily blossomed into a confident, thoughtful young woman, guided by the love and protection of a brother who had given everything for her. And on the day she graduated, James watched her from the back of the auditorium, heart swelling with pride and a twinge of sadness for the life of music he had temporarily set aside. But the satisfaction of seeing her walk across that stage, smiling, strong, and capable, eclipsed the personal loss. And in that moment he realized that sacrifice was not a burden but a gift, because by giving up his dreams, he had given her the foundation to build hers, the courage to face the world, and the knowledge that love, when expressed through action and devotion, could shape a life more profoundly than any applause ever could. And as they walked home that evening, the warm light of sunset bathing the streets in amber, James held Lily's hand for a moment, feeling the connection that had sustained them through tragedy, hard work, and the quiet, difficult years of his selfless dedication. And he understood fully that life's greatest achievements were sometimes measured not in fame, wealth, or recognition, but in the hearts you protect, the lives you nurture, and the bonds that remain unbroken even when personal desires are put aside. And as they entered their home, the place that had once been filled with sorrow and now radiated warmth, James knew that every sleepless night, every missed opportunity, every deferred dream had been worth it because Lily was safe, happy, and whole. And in the quiet of the evening, when the house settled into stillness and the moonlight fell through the windows, he finally allowed himself to strum his guitar softly, the notes delicate and unclaimed by an audience, yet more beautiful than any stage performance, because each note carried the story of sacrifice, love, and devotion, a story that would resonate through the years, shaping the lives of both siblings forever. And he smiled, knowing that although he had put his dreams aside, he had not abandoned them entirely, for in the joy, safety, and growth of Lily, he had found a melody more profound than any applause could ever bring, and that was enough.